On behalf of Byomkasma Buddha Dharma Sangha, Rana Rinpoche, and the Nepalese Buddhist community, we'd like to welcome you once again to Nepal.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting us. We know that you are also very busy and you have the Sangha around the world to look after, but still, despite your busyness, you have blessed us with your visit. We really want to thank you for that.
I'm also very happy to be in Nepal because it's a very holy place with lots of many holy places.
Your Holiness, elaborate your connection with Nepal, or therefore connection of the Sakya tradition with Nepal.
Generally speaking, Nepal is very strong connection with the Tibet. When Buddhism first came to Tibet, it was the Guru Sambhava, Chandarakshita, and King Trisongdesan, and it is said that in their previous lives they prayed when they built the Buddha that they will be able to spread the Buddha Dharma in Tibet, the land of snow. So since then, and then the Nepalese princess also married to a Tibetan king and so on, that very long time that we have a very close connections. And for myself, before I was born, my father visited Mount Kailash and then also went to Nepal, visited Nepal. And then when he returned from Nepal to Tibet, then I was conceived and I was born. So I have, even before my birth, I have a connection with Nepal.
Rinpoche, could you please tell us about this particular visit? What activities are you doing? We know that there are many empowerments that you are going to bless us with. Is there any specific purpose to your visit this time?
It's been quite some time that I have not been to Nepal, so this time mainly our IBA here. I need to come here from time to time, so mainly I coming for the IBA, and then also the Rana Guruji, and he wanted me to give a very big initiation, which I couldn't do, but I will give one initiation, our Lokadeshwara initiation, and then also Chandasaka Lama, who has created a shrine here in IBA, so to consecrate that. So mainly for these three purposes that I have come to Nepal.
Your Holiness, could you also elaborate or tell us more about this big empowerment of Avalokiteshvara that you're going to bestow for general public? What is this Wang, and why is it so important for this time?
Actually, Rana Guruji has asked me to give a Kala Chakra initiation, but Kala Chakra is very big, and I'm now old, and I couldn't do this. It's such a big initiation. And moreover, I feel, although Kala Chakra is very popular, everybody knows, but there are very few people who really practice. So then instead of that, I give our Lokadeshwara, which is the calming link deity of Tibet. And then also Tibetans and Himalayan regions, it's a very popular deity. Even though they can't do the long practice, everyone recites Om Mani Padme Hum, that everyone recites. So therefore I decided to give our Lokadeshwara initiation so that everybody can benefit. And everybody, at least, even they can't do long sadhanas, but they can recite the mantras.
While you're giving this very precious empowerment to the general public in Nepal, and specifically in Kathmandu Valley, it is also known as the land of Avalokiteshvara, because the Newari people here, they have many temples dedicated to Avalokiteshvara, known as Karunamay in Kathmandu Valley. So there are like many shrines that is dedicated to the Avalokiteshvara practices. Do you see any connection of the empowerments that you're giving this time with the local population, the Newars or the Kathmandu Valley people?
Yeah, that's why I said that because all the Buddhas are actually same. There's no difference, but due to our own karmic connections, it makes a difference. So the Tibetans and Himalayans and Nepal, especially in Nepal, people have a very close karmic connection with Avalokiteshvara. So that's why that I decided to give this initiation.
As you know, the young people um, around the world, including in Nepal and Asia, especially Buddhist, when we're talking about Buddhist young people, they are kind of being disenfranchised, they are being distracted or disheartened, and they're not like they're kind of going away from the Buddha Dharma practices or the tradition. How do you think this empowerment could benefit the young people, or how should we approach young people with Dharma and specifically this Avalokitesvara practice?
Generally, I'm an optimistic person. I always look at from the better point of view. So although now the modern world there are a lot of distractions, so it's not so traditional like you can devote time and energy just for the practice. But at the same time, people are more intelligent now. People are more studied. And Buddhism is not a religion, not just by faith, but by reasons. So the more and more people, especially young people who are studying in universities and colleges, and so they will have the more, they will not go just like traditional without kind of blind faith, but they will find more reasons why we practice Dharma, what is the Buddhist philosophy, what is so they try to find out more things, and as they study, the more and more studied, they find Buddhism very relevant during this modern time. So I think that although for the time being there are a lot of distractions and young people will not go straight away just as their parents do, but eventually I think the people will realize how important the Buddhism is in this modern world.
We meet in a time also when there is so much of suffering in the world due to environmental catastrophe, due to climate change, due to war that has been instigated, diseases that we recently have. It seems, and maybe I'm wrong, Rinpoche, and I have a very small lifetime considered to your experience. Like I see that in last 10, 15 years, that there is a lot of negative that has just, kind of fruited. A lot of diseases, a lot of wars, a lot of famine, extreme weathers. Every year there's something. And in time like this, Rinpoche, what can we do, general like Buddhists, from a practice perspective for the better life and peace in this world?
Yeah, I think that all the problems that we face now are due to our own inner defilement, because people have excess defilements like anger, jealousy, desire, ignorance, etc. And so due to this, all the wars and disease and all kinds of things are happening. So the what we can do is to do the prayers is important, but the most important thing is to generate loving kindness and compassion to all sentient beings, especially, and out of loving kindness and compassion rises the bodhicitta, the enlightenment mind, that is, rescue all sentient beings from the suffering of samsara and lead them towards the enlightenment. So this thought, if every individual could rise such thoughts, I'm sure will be the best antidote to pacifying all the problems that we are facing, man-made problems and natural problems, climate changes, everything will be pacified.
Thank you so much, Your Holiness. Thank you so much, Your Holiness. We have Craig from Buddhist Store. He's a journalist from a Buddhist store out. He has some question for you, Rinpoche.
Okay, sure.
So I'll let him have.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.
We're an online Buddhist journal serving the global Buddhist community. I have some very broad questions compared to those that my friend has just asked you. If I may, compassion for sentient beings is a fundamental aspect of the Buddha Dhamma. How does the Sakya tradition emphasize and cultivate compassion, and what can other Buddhist traditions learn from this approach?
I mean, all Buddhists, especially the Tibetan Buddhism, we have many schools, but all is the same. Basically, it's the same because we are all Mahayanas, we are all Vajrayanas, and we all practice both Sutrayana and Mantrayana. And both Sutrayana and Mantrayana, the root lies on compassion. Compassion to all sentient beings. That is our motivation of practicing the Dharma, is to rescue all sentient beings from the suffering of samsara.
Looking at the broader acceptance of Tibetan Buddhism throughout the world, in Asia and in the West, do you see a danger that the teachings and traditions and rituals that have been preserved for centuries could become diluted and misunderstood in the new age of digital media and so on?
As I said, I'm an optimistic person. So I think, of course, there are some problems everywhere. Always there are some problems. But overall, I think people will realize how important to practice Dharma in their daily lives, especially in the West. And also in the East, traditional Buddhists, they just go to temples and light incense, do circumambulations, prostrations, not so much about philosophy. But now, with the modern education and things, people are changing. They will not go straight away to the temples without reason, not straight away they light the incense, but they say why we should light incense with the reasons. And that is the whole principle of the Mahayana Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, is with the reasons, with the logical reasons. It's not just because this is holy, this is very holy, because it is Buddha has said. It's not just, that is not the reason. This is holy, this is practical, because it works like this. So when you do this, this comes, and this will, so with the logical reasons. So therefore, more and more people realize with the modern educations. Although there are problems, but I think eventually the problems will be minimized, and more and more people will come to, because even nowadays many scientists who do not believe in religion, who do not believe in rebirth, or who do not believe anything, only thing they believe is what they see, what they really can touch. Many scientists think that Buddhism is relevant, Buddhism is important, Buddhism has something. So as the whole world is now going to the scientists, so I think the more and more people will realize that Buddhism is relevant during this modern time.
Is there any particular guidance or advice from the Sakya tradition or from your personal spiritual journey that you would like to share with our readers who are seeking to deepen their own Buddhist practice?
Yes. What I wanted to say is that as we are changing now, the world is changing, and it is important more and more people should study the Buddhist, those, especially those who are followers of the Buddhist should study the philosophical things. What is the Buddhism? What is the difference between Buddhism and the other religions? I mean, I believe every religion has its own beauty, its own way to help the mankind. Yeah, so every religion is important to the world. But those who belonging to the Buddhism, they should study more on the not just by blind faith, but more on the study of philosophical texts.
Thank you very much, Rinpoche.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.